You're standing in the doorway of a house that isn't yours yet, holding a set of keys the seller just dropped into your palm, and your hands are shaking a little. Not from excitement, from fear. Because you just signed papers promising to pay $200,000 over the next 30 years, and the number is so big it stopped feeling like money and started feeling like a sentence. The carpet smells like someone else's life. There's a water stain on the ceiling you pretended not to notice during the walkthrough. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a voice is asking the question every single investor asks at the start. What did I just do? Here's what nobody tells you. That fear you're feeling right now is the exact same fear the guy with 40 rental units felt on his first deal. The only difference between you and him is time and a handful of moves you haven't learned yet. So let me walk you through it, level by level, because I've stood in every one of these rooms. And I'm going to show you how the board actually works. Level 1. You own one property, and it's the one you live in. Congratulations. And also, I have to be honest with you, you are not really an investor yet. You're a homeowner, which the world will tell you is the same thing. It isn't, because that house doesn't pay you. Every month you write a check for the mortgage, the insurance, the property tax, and when the water heater dies at 11 p.m. on a Sunday, there's no tenant to call and no landlord to blame. There's just you, in the garage, Googling, why is my basement wet? You feel like you've arrived. You've been told your whole life that buying a home is the American dream, the smart adult move, the thing that separates the grown-ups from the renters. And it is a step. But here's the reframe the wealthy learned early. Your home is a liability that wears the costume of an asset. It takes money out of your pocket every month. The people who actually get rich in real estate figure this out fast, and they start asking a different question. Not, how do I own a nicer house today, but how do I make a house pay me? Sin. That question is the door to level 2. Level 2, you buy your first rental. Maybe it's a small duplex. Maybe it's a condo across town. Maybe it's the house you used to live in and decided to keep. And the day the first rent payment hits your account, something shifts in your brain that you will never fully undo. It's $1,200. It showed up while you were asleep. You didn't trade an hour of your life for it. You feel, for the first time, the thing rich people feel all day. Money moving toward you instead of away from you. But then, reality knocks, literally. The tenant texts you a photo of a broken dishwasher. The furnace needs servicing. 1 month the rent is 4 days late and your stomach drops because you're still counting on it to cover the mortgage. This is where most people quit. They call it too much of a headache and sell, and they tell everyone at dinner parties that real estate is overrated. What they never understood is that the headache is the job. You're not being paid to own a building. You're being paid to solve problems other people don't want to solve. The investor who stays calm when the dishwasher breaks, who has a plumber on speed dial and 3 months of reserves in the bank, that person is quietly building something. Because he learned the first real rule of the game. Cash flow beats appreciation, and boring beats exciting. He's not chasing the dream house. He's collecting rent checks like a man picking up coins off the sidewalk, over and over, unbothered. Level 3. You've got 3, 4, maybe 5 units now, and this is where the game changes shape entirely because you stop being a landlord and start becoming a banker. See? At level 2, you were spending your own money, your own savings, sweating over every down payment. At level 3, you discover the secret that runs the entire real estate world. Other people's money. You walk into the bank, and instead of them judging you, they're pulling out chairs. Because you have a track record now. You have properties that produce income, and to a bank, income is the magic word. You learn to pull equity out of the first property to buy the third. You learn what a cash-out refinance is, and the first time you do one, you almost laugh because you're holding $40,000 in tax-free cash that came from a house you already owned, and you didn't sell a thing. This is the level where you understand that the rich don't get rich by saving money. They get rich by controlling assets they didn't fully pay for. Your net worth on paper starts climbing faster than your bank account, and you start speaking a new language, words like cap rate and debt service and leverage. You feel, for the first time, like you can see the whole board. But you're still small enough to touch every screw yourself, still driving over to fix a leaky faucet on a Saturday, and that's about to become the thing that holds you back. Level 4. You wake up one morning and count them. 11 doors. 11 separate keys, 11 separate tenants, 11 separate ways for your phone to ring at the worst possible time. And you notice something that scares you more than the water stain on that first ceiling ever did. You're tired, not broke tired, rich tired. You're driving 40 minutes across town on a Saturday to look at a faucet you could pay someone $30 to fix because a part of you still believes that saving that $30 is what got you here. It isn't anymore. That instinct that made you at level 2 is quietly strangling you at level 4. So you do the thing that terrifies every self-made investor. You let go. You hire a property manager and hand her 8% of your rents, and the first month you watch that money leave, it feels like a wound. Then something remarkable happens. Nothing. The dishwasher breaks and you don't hear about it. The tenant's late and you don't feel your stomach drop, because she handles it with a system you never had. You get an hour of your life back, then a day, then a whole weekend, and you realize the 8% didn't cost you money. It bought you the one thing you were running out of. This is the level where you stop being the business and start owning the business. You form an LLC. You meet an accountant who shows you depreciation, and you sit there stunned as she explains that you can make $60,000 in rent this year and legally show a loss on paper, paying almost nothing in tax, while a nurse pulling the same 60,000 hands over a third of it. You didn't cheat. You read the rule book everyone else was too busy to open. And you start buying differently now, not one door at a time, but looking at a 10-unit building the way you once looked at a duplex. Thinking, not, can I afford this, but who can I bring in to help me afford this? Level 5. You're sitting in a conference room that isn't yours, at a table with people whose money you're about to spend. You've stopped buying real estate with your money entirely. Now you find the deal, the 80-unit apartment complex priced at $9 million. And you raise the capital from investors who trust your track record, your reputation, the calm in your voice when you walk them through the numbers. You take a slice for finding it and running it, and you never sign a personal check. This is the level nobody at the dinner party even knows exists, where the money is measured in units of 100, where a single decision moves more wealth than your entire 20s earned. And here's the strange part, the part that would have shocked the version of you shaking in that first doorway. It's quieter up here. There's no faucet to fix, no tenant to chase. There's a spreadsheet, a team, and a phone that mostly stays silent. You've become the guy the banks pull out chairs for in a way you couldn't have imagined. The guy young investors ask to grab coffee with, hoping you'll drop one sentence that changes their life. And you understand now that the whole ladder was never about houses at all. It was about the transfer of one thing, slowly, level by level. Control. At the bottom, the property controls you, dragging you out of bed at 11 p.m. At the top, you control assets you'll never personally set foot in, and they pay you while you sleep in a bed you actually own. So go back to that doorway. Feel the keys still warm in your palm, the fear still climbing your throat, that $200,000 sentence hanging over you like the water stain on the ceiling. Here's what I need you to understand. That fear isn't a sign you made a mistake. It's the toll you pay to get on the board at all. Every single person sitting in that $9 million conference room stood exactly where you're standing, hands shaking, Googling, why is my basement wet? Asking themselves, what did I just do? The only thing that separated them from the millions who stayed renters forever wasn't luck, and it wasn't a rich uncle. It was that they stayed in the room long enough to stop being afraid of the headache and start getting paid for it. The house in front of you isn't a sentence. It's the first square. And now you know what the board looks like all the way to the end. So close your hand around those keys and take the step. The distance from where you are to where they are is only ever the next move you're brave enough to make.